Hi guys, I'm Eclipse. Welcome to another meta-analysis video, and today we're gonna take a break from the heroes. Next was Ancient Apparition, not Anti-Mage, my bad. But anyway, we're 6.84 is coming up pretty quick, so I am gonna go through all the heroes, and I'm gonna kind of generally predict what's gonna happen to them. Probably not gonna go into too much depth. Uh, Maybe provide a few suggestions. Well, what I think is gonna happen, what I'd like to happen, etc., etc. So, without any further ado, let's go on. Abaddon needs a buff. I'm not entirely sure where that buff is gonna be. Mm, yeah. Maybe a Photic Shield max damage doesn't scale great. Or maybe Mist Coil damage. I think the heal, if they increase the heal as well, the damage would be OP, but increasing the damage would be nice. Maybe decreasing self damage. I don't expect to see a change to these two skills. Alchemist, okay. Alchemist most certainly needs a buff. I don't expect to see it in... I think it has to be in Rage. Like, Acid Spray is strong enough. Unstable Concoction... Unstable Concoction could get a buff, actually. Not to its stun or max damage, I would say to its hold time. 5.5 is kind of difficult, or maybe even to its, if not to its hold time, to its maximum damage and stun time. Like it says, after 5 seconds, it reaches maximum damage and stun. Maybe they'll make that a bit shorter. But I think it has to be Rage, to be honest. Greed's already been buffed, or to the hero itself, actually. His gains are really garbage, so yeah. AA. I don't think AA should change. I think he's really good where he is. He's pretty balanced. Probably one of the most balanced heroes in the game. If he is changed, well, yeah, I don't know. I don't even want him to be changed. So, yeah, Anti-Mage, again, another pretty balanced hero to be honest. Maybe a slight buff. Not even sure where that would go though. And again, an Ags upgrade is possible for every hero who doesn't have an Ags upgrade. I don't expect to see one on Anti-Mage because no one's gonna go Ags Anti-Mage, but anyway. Axe nerf. Axe needs a nerf, and he needs its Berserker's Call. Berserker's Call is a 3.2 second, 300 radius, 10-second cooldown stun, essentially. And that's just stupid. Like, you hear people talking about it as a mini RP lately. It's just ridiculous. It's really way too good. I expect that skill to be nerfed. I don't think his other skills need to be changed. Culling Blade was already nerfed. I think Counter Helix. I don't think Counter Helix. Counter Helix was buffed last time actually, so I don't think it needs a change. Battle Hunger. No one even skills it anyway. Bane. Bane is also very balanced. I don't expect a change to Bane. I think he's good where he is. Uh, Bat Rider. If anything, typical Bat Rider treatment is to be nerfed, but I don't think he's too strong right now. I think he can get away without being changed, but obviously people like him being nerfed. Not entirely sure where they'd nerf him at this point. Uh, they tried to nerf his jungle ability. Maybe that's where they'll go again. I don't know. Again, I don't think the hero really needs to be nerfed. It's really just it's not the hero that's OP. It's the concept. It's the hero's not OP, but like Flaming Lasso will always be an incredibly strong skill, and I don't really think these three skills matter a ton as long as you have Flaming Lasso. Well, I guess actually Firefly is pretty important as well, but as long as you have Flaming Lasso, I think this hero is pretty damn viable. Beastmaster, if anything, a buff, I'd say, but I don't think he needs one. Again, one of those heroes. I guess I'm being kind of boring here, but he's probably okay where he is. Uh, hmm. Mm, yeah, maybe an Axis buff. People don't like to skill that anymore. Leave it at 2 and then go for these. But or maybe even a double, like joint buff nerf, buff, like say buff to Wild Axis, nerf to Hawk or something. Call of the Wild is really strong right now. The Boar and the Hawk are both really strong. Inner Beast is always good. Wild Axis is a meh nuke. Primal Roar is pretty good as well, but I mean, Strength Morphling is kind of stronger because you don't really care about the damage or the other stuff that much. Bloodseeker needs a buff. Where I expect to see this buff, I hopefully to Rupture. Level 1 Rupture really doesn't do anything. Like you can pretty much just run away, or maybe give him like maybe if one of his skills had the potential to stun, he'd be more viable as well because people just TP away from him most of the time. I guess he can buy Yules or something. Yules isn't terrible on the zero actually. So I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Rupture buff. Just to maybe just like improve the scaling. Maybe it goes like 30, 45, 60 instead. Something like that. I don't really mind his other skills. Maybe actually a buff to Blood Right wouldn't be terrible either. Uh, I mean, Silence is nice, but like it's really unreliable. There's really not much reason to pick this hero. I think Thirst is okay though. Uh, maybe raise the visibility health again. I'm not sure, but hero definitely needs a buff, and I think it's probably these two skills. These two skills are fine. The hero himself, I'm pretty sure he has good gains. I haven't like, wish I had a dual monitor. I could check everyone's gains as we go, but Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter needs a buff. I think which direction this buff goes kind of depends on what icefrog wants to see from this hero. Uh, because if you want to see this hero as a core again, I think you need to raise his strength gain. His strength gain is garbage. His base strength is garbage. He's really squishy, and if you want to play this hero as a carry, you'll find that you're kind of stuck because there are no good hybrid items for him, and he doesn't like he stays really he's really squishy or hits like a truck, or he's really tanky and he hits like nothing. So I mean, hero's just not that good. I don't think the hero needs buffs to his skills. I think the hero needs buffs to himself. Honestly, maybe move speed. Uh, like I said, strength gain would be nice. Int would also be nice on this hero, so you can spam that track a little better. But yeah, Beastmaster or Brewmaster, sorry, Panda. Okay, I think he's okay. I don't think I think maybe minor buffs, but again I think he's pretty good right now. He's in a good place. He's not. People don't really like. No one really runs him in the mid lane anymore because of his that last nerf, the dual buff to Thunderclap, and the nerf to his survivability after 6.82 was it? So yeah, maybe undo one of those nerfs. Just leave him with one because I don't know. Hero's kind of sad right now. Only Empire really run him, and they don't run him in the mid lane anymore. So that's where I hope that hero goes. Bristleback, probably a nerf. Probably to Warpath, maybe? I mean, Warpath is pretty ridiculously strong. I mean, or maybe even a nerf to his int in order to kind of nerf Warpath because he can't spam as many spells. But I mean, basically this hero just runs and spams spells and is really tanky and does a lot of damage. I don't really think that he's gonna. I mean, he doesn't need a huge nerf. Maybe just a minor nerf somewhere. Either to the hero's int, I would say, or to his mana costs. to his cooldowns or to Warpath itself. I don't think Bristleback's too strong at all. I think it's fine. Broodmother. I think icefrog's gonna leave Broodmother. If anything, I'd like this hero to be nerfed to shit so that it's completely useless because I hate this bitch. But what I expect to see would probably be nerfs. Maybe spawn spiderling damage. Maybe spin web charges. Yeah, not sure. Don't expect an Ags upgrade for this hero. Yeah. I don't think incapacitating bite is really strong when you look at it, but it's not really that good in practice. His Broodmother skills are all absurdly good, and you kind of need to skill all of them. By the time you get this, it's not that useful. Centaur. Centaur's in an okay place right now. Maybe minor buffs. Probably like back to give mana back to him for his early game. I mean, I think the primary nerf that kind of was the beginning of the end for Centaur was they made Hoof Stomp just stay at 130 all levels, which made it kind of crappy for him. I think maybe use your memory, maybe you take it to like 100, 110, 120, 130. So it costs more than it used to, but it doesn't cost too much. No stun duration. Maybe Hoof Stomp damage. I don't think returns that amazing. Maybe a minor nerf to Stampede. Maybe an Ags upgrade actually for this hero. This hero could do with an Ags. I mean, really, he just wants mobility, and then the stats would be fine. Uh, as for what an Ags upgrade would do if he gets one, uh, probably duration. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think an Ags upgrade would be cool in this hero. I think he'd benefit from having the item as well, and he could definitely be able to get it. But I'm not sure if. I mean, it depends on what the Ags upgrade is, if there is one. I'm not too sure. Chaos Knight definitely needs some buffs. He's really weak right now. I think Chaos Bolt mana cost needs to be heavily reduced. He doesn't have nearly enough mana to use that at all, really. 140 mana is just ridiculous. This hero doesn't have that much mana. Uh, Maybe buff to level 1 Phantasm. Really, just Phantasm as a whole. Like, if it was like. If they got rid of the 50% chance and made it 2, 3, 4, I think that would make the hero a lot stronger. Uh, Phantasm duration is fine. Phantasm damage and damage taken are also fine. Chaos Strike, maybe an increase in chance, but I don't think he needs that. Reality Rift, I think Reality Rift is pretty okay too. I think it's really Chaos Bolt that needs the buff out of all his spells. It doesn't scale amazingly, and it's really just the mana cost. This hero doesn't have the mana cost. Maybe some nerf buffs to his gains. Uh, yeah. I wish I could check his gains, but I cannot. Can I, like... No, I don't think so. Or actually, let's just go to the library, check it out. Chaos Knight. He starts with just 16, 1.2 mana. Yeah, his int gains his int is really trash. His move speed's fine, his armor's fine, his base damage is good. His agi gain and strength gain are good as well. It's really just Chaos Bolt being such a shitty spell, kind of. That makes him kind of sad right now, I think. That and the hero kind of needs a wisp. I mean, if they could make him a bit more... Maybe if they found a way to make him farm faster. That would be cool. I don't really know what they would do for that, though. Anyway, that's about all I can think of. Chen. Chen needs to be nerfed. At the same time, I think he also kind of needs to be buffed. Not for his sake, but I think it'd be cool if the Black Dragon wasn't completely useless to take or whatever. I think that would be nice. As for nerfs, maybe just some minor things like Test of Faith damage, uh, Hand of God heal. Hmm, maybe some more TP delay. Like the TPing of the creeps is pretty damn strong right now. Maybe a buff to just that particular thing wouldn't be terrible. But I don't think penitence needs to be changed. It's fine. No one really uses it anyway. Test of faith, like yeah, I think that test of faith is probably where you wanna nerf this hero. I don't think the hero stats even matter. It's really just these two skills that are make the hero strong. Well, Hand of God's also pretty damn good, but no one really cares about penitence, and it's really just the creeps, the ability to teleport the creeps, the ability to save allies, and it's nice burst damage nuke in the early game. That's really strong for him. Uh, yeah, Clinks. Clinks needs some buffs. I think buffs to his tank ability would be cool, especially like in the early game, because this hero without Death Pact is just so squishy. Where's Clinks? There he is. Let's take a look here. Yeah, 15 base strength with 1.6 strength increase is complete trash. Honestly, like that's just really, really, really terrible. Uh, Other improvements: attack animation, maybe base damage, maybe intelligence as well, maybe. This hero is really mana hungry, but I mean, 1.55 mana a second or 1.55 mana a level, along with 16 starting in, is really shit. Like, Zero's mana costs are extremely high. Well, not extremely high, but they're higher than he can really sustain. Because, I mean, Pharaoh, that's 10 per. Then you've got Strafe, which is 90. And when you strafe, you're shooting a shit ton of fire arrows. And Skeleton Walk as well. It also 20-second cooldown, 75 over 20 seconds. You want to have Death Pact up all the time as well. So his mana costs are deceptively high because of how crap his mana pool is. Clockwork, I think Clockwork's pretty good where he is. If anything, probably a nerf. Sure, it's pretty popular right now. Where he would be nerfed is another question altogether. However, I mean, I don't think any of his skills are too strong. This hero basically in the late game just hooks in and dies anyway. Maybe weakness. I mean, if you take away his survivability, he's not going to be a viable offlaner anymore, and then he's just not going to be a viable hero anymore. So honestly, it might even just be best for Clock just not to be changed at all. I think that's fine. I don't think he's too strong. I don't think he's too weak either. I think he's pretty good where he is. Crystal Maiden, CM, please buff. This hero is so sad right now. Like, thing about CM is, okay, I think it's pretty much fine that she's complete shit in the late game. I mean, there are two ways you can go with this. Like I said, this hero is complete shit in the late game. So, one thing you can do is improve her late game ability. Maybe you can't BKB off Frostbite or some something stupid. Maybe Freezing Field goes through BKB. I don't know. Something like that. That would be nice for her. However, I don't think that's the right route. I think this hero, when you look at this hero, like Frostbite is so strong at level 1. Just give this hero her level 1 back. I mean, terrible base stats, pretty terrible gains, but that's not a huge deal for a support hero. Terrible move speed, terrible armor, terrible damage. Like, it's actually just depressing. I mean, she has such good level 1 skills. Just give her back some of that early game prowess. Maybe give her 10 move speed or give her, I don't know, 10 damage, give her 2 armor, something like maybe give her a bit more base int as well. Her mana costs are too high for her. Like, I mean, 16 mana. or 16 int can't really support 100 mana, can't support 115 mana, certainly can't support 200 mana, so it's really rough for her. She definitely needs some serious buffing. Uh, Dark Seer, Dark Seer would do well with a buff. I don't know if he's really weak right now. I think it's just I think no one just I just think no one likes him. This is not a fun hero to play. He doesn't really do much right now, so I don't know. Maybe a bit more time for you to get the vacuum wall combo off. That's what he got last patch, but not enough. Definitely a vacuum change because icefrog. Vacuum cooldown change. Um, Surge is fine. Ion Shell. I think Ion Shell is also fine. I think you can do some cool things with Ion Shell. I think you could like offlane Bounty Hunter Darkseer, but anyway, that's for some other time. Uh, so yeah, maybe maybe a buff to wall, level one wall. Level one wall really sucks. Maybe some like I think the hugest buff to level one wall would probably be wall damage. Or maybe cast range. Cast range is complete trash at level one. Just ability in general is just complete trash at level one. Maybe make vacuum skill better as well. I don't think the damage really matters. Uh, Maybe cooldown. Maybe the radius is bigger at all levels. Something like that. Dazzle needs a nerf. All these abilities are really strong, like absurdly strong. I think the one big nerf they could make is maybe Weaves doesn't give vision. Uh, I don't think that'd make the hero complete trash, but I do think that'd make the hero a lot less strong than he is. He's pretty freaking strong right now. Uh, I think he needs probably like a medium level buff. Not a slight buff, not a major buff, but like it's sort of somewhere in the middle. Uh, so yeah, maybe Weave doesn't do that. Maybe Shadow Wave doesn't do as much damage, but heal bombing isn't that common anyway. Maybe uh a nerf to Shallow Grave wouldn't be terrible. I'd say either to cooldown or to range. Uh, Maybe also a reduction in Poison Touch's ability to damage early levels, because it is really, 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 really good at zoning early. And that's a really good thing about this hero. Other things, I think its gains are. I don't think its gains are that good, are they? I don't know. I'm heading to the library a lot, guys. I don't know everyone's gains. Um, Dazzle. There's Dazzle. Take a quick look. 3.4 int with 27 to start. Like, look at this. This makes CM so sad right there. Like, actually. Poor CM, man. Anyway. Agi, 21 base Agi. Not that. Nothing to write home about, but kind of cool. Pretty terrible base strength. I don't think they can nerf that anymore. Strength gain is also garbage. So, I don't know. Maybe attack animation, maybe base int. A base int will also reduce base damage because this hero is really strong in the early game. And maybe Poison Touch level 1. And maybe Weave Vision. That's a lot of maybes, I know. Death Prophet, probably buffed. Zero is really ultimate centric. It's not really that popular in this meta. That might not be why. That might be why she's not picked, honestly. So I'm not sure. She really needs a buff. But, I think her ult cooldown's finally okay. Maybe an Ags upgrade for this hero because she's so dependent on her ult. Thing is, her ult's really strong as it is. I don't honestly know what would make it better. Maybe if the life drain was instant when she had Ags, so she just became completely invincible when she ulted. That would probably be OP, actually. Like if it just or like, well, actually, like when you're using exorcism, right? The spirits fly to a target, hit the target, then they fly back to Death Prophet. If maybe when they fly back to Death Prophet, if they heal her then, and then go out again to do the damage instead of healing her all at the end, maybe that would be a viable Ags upgrade. Still possibly OP. Not 100% sure. I don't think more spirits is an option. Cooldown reduction is an option. Mana cost doesn't matter. Radius doesn't really matter. Maybe duration is also an option. Witchcraft, I think, is a fine ability. Silence is also a really, actually, deceptively strong ability. Crypt Swarm, I mean, 4-second, 300 damage nuke, I don't think that really needs a buff. Maybe they give her strength back, her strength gain back. I don't think that was, I don't think that'll happen. But maybe give her some more early game move speed as well. But then again, this hero is so fucking fast in the late game. If you give her more like 10 more attack speed or move speed in the early game, that's gonna translate to like 50 more in the late game. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know about that. Disruptor, I think Disruptor is also fine where he is. He's kind of situational, but not really. I mean, he's really good at what he does, and he's really garbage at what he doesn't do, basically. Because, I mean, he doesn't have stuns, for example. I guess Kinetic Field is kind of a pseudo stun, but eh. I think this hero is fine, to be honest. I don't think he should be changed. Doom. Remove this hero from the game, please, icefrog. Anyway. I think his Egg Scepter is too strong, despite the fact that he's not picked. It actually just pisses me right the fuck off. That stupid thing. Anyway. They got rid of the freaking close up, or maybe change it to magical damage. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. Zero isn't really picked, so it'd probably get a buff, which is really, really, really sad to me. Cause fuck the Zero. Please not Doom charges. Don't give him the Shadow Demon Hags buff, please. I don't know. Maybe an increase to early game level death. 'Cause level death is like a nuke that gets better in the late game, which is really weird because nukes are supposed to be good in the early game. So I don't know. Scorched Earth. Maybe more move speed. Sometimes this hero has trouble running people down, or maybe just more move speed in general for the hero. Maybe more armor, more agine. Just I don't like it. I don't like it, man. I don't want to talk about this hero getting buffed. Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight needs buffs. Where these buffs are gonna be, I think his I like his starting damage is like sub 50, which really sucks for him. I think that would be a good place to buff him. I don't know. I think that's probably the best place to buff him is his early game. I don't know what his base armor is. I think it's pretty good though. I mean, I don't think he needs an armor buff. After all, we are talking about Dragon fucking Knight. I don't think this guy needs more armor. Maybe better scaling for Dragon Tail, but better scaling for Dragon Tail scares me because if you fucking upgrade this ability, it just like, well, maybe actually if you increase the damage it did, that would be an interesting thing to do. Because you can't increase this, make the stun duration scale better without making it shittier at level 1. Because if you do, it's just gonna be too fucking long. It'd just be imba as fuck. Then again, I mean, we have fucking Berserker's Call, so it's like the same stun duration, about the same cooldown, except it's AoE. I mean, what the fuck? And it does more damage too because counter healer. So yeah, this is probably the shittiest skill to be honest. Maybe if it like turned into a true nuke as well, like maybe if it had really good damage scaling because people leave it at 1 point, and I think that's okay because 2.5 seconds is a really good stun. But if they what if they made the damage scale like absurdly good, like if it went like 25, 125, 225, 325? I think that'd be an interesting thing to do. But then again, I don't think they'd still scale it that much because dragon. I mean, maybe the hero can forego Dragon Blood for a bit. I don't think so. It's something that I have to see in practice. So I don't know. Just an idea. Drow. I think Drow's in a pretty good place right now. I don't think she needs a ton of change. If anything, maybe a slight nerf to her absurdly high mid game damage. Maybe marksmanship scales shittier, for example, or I don't think frost arrows need a change. No eggs upgrade for this stupid hero. Um. Hmm. Yeah. I don't think she needs very much change. I think she's both viable, but she's also very situational. Like, you can't really play this hero in the late game, for example. This hero is basically specifically for mid game pushing lineups, so maybe a buff to her like late game and or early game or something like that to make her more viable in more situations even. Earth Spirit, take this fucking hero out of the game as well. This hero needs a nerf to every ability. Fucking Earth Spirit, man. I'm not talking about Earth Spirit, not in CM, guys. That's the excuse, not in CM. Oh god, please don't add to CM. Oh fuck. I hope I didn't jinx that. Anyway, Earthshaker. Earthshaker. I think Earthshaker's pretty good. Maybe a nerf. If maybe like a nerf to Echo Slam cast point. No, I think that's a selling point often. Because like no one's initiation is an instant as an Earthshaker's. That's really like no one can BKB in time if you don't see the Earthshaker coming. You're just fucked. Unless the Earthshaker fucks up or something. Like it's fucking E's. Like why isn't my fucking ult working? Or something. So I don't know. I think Aftershock buff would be too strong. Uh I think the hero's pretty good right now. Like I said, but maybe a fissure range nerf, maybe a fissure duration nerf, because fissure blocking lanes is pretty strong. But at the same time, icefrog doesn't like Earthshaker block, so he doesn't want to change it back so that it doesn't block creeps, because that would also be OP. So basically, this ability will always be OP when referring to creeps. Okay. Anyway, Elder Titan. Elder Titan needs a buff. Um, where exactly that is another question altogether. Astral Spirit doesn't do that much damage, but at the same time, I'm not sure if the natural order is applied first or not. If you're out of range of the aura has a really shit radius, so I don't know. I don't know if it actually does 150 if you have levels in natural order, or if the magic reduction is applied first and it therefore does more than 150. Sorry about the squeaks, but yeah, I think it's okay. Echo Stomp. Echo Stomp buff to its cast time. Maybe it wouldn't be bad. Or if it wasn't channeled, like if it was a cast point, kind of like Lycan's ult, where people always like fucking stun Lycan while he's ulting and it just doesn't fucking matter. Like that would be pretty cool as well. I don't think you can really buff this hero's ability to farm really. I think this hero's gains are fine again. I don't know these fucking things. Okay, I'm sorry. I just don't. How much of this video is gonna be me checking fucking stat gains? Holy shit. Wow, I'm sorry guys. I should have come more prepared. The Agi's kind of trash, but I don't think that matters a ton. Yeah, I don't think he needs to change to his gains. So yeah, I think Echo Stomp needs the buff, if anything. Natural Order is already fucking ridiculous. I mean, this hero completely shits on Morphling, for example. Like, if you play Morphling against ET, you just fucking lost. I hope you're Strength Morphling. That's all I'm gonna say. Astral Spirit's kind of cool. But I don't think he needs a ton of change anyway. He definitely needs a buff, and that buff definitely should be to the Stomp, I think. Maybe your Astral Spirit moves faster than you or something? I'm not sure. Anyway, Ember Spirit. I think Ember Spirit's pretty okay right now. I think he's one of those heroes who comes in and out based on where the meta's going. So I don't think he's actually. I think he's fine. Even though we don't see him that much, I think he's perfectly fine. If anything, I guess he'd be buffed because he wasn't picked. And if he's picked, perhaps more Flame Guard Magic Absorb, especially in the early game. Because like 50 Magic Absorb, it's not really the problem. Isn't a completely like
Like, it's not completely the problem that. Okay, basically the problem with this is if I'm a level 1 Ember Spirit, or level. Like, basically if I have level 1 Flame Guard, and I turn on my E and run to go kill Avenge, or like a Vengeful Spirit, she will turn around and Magic Missile me, and I no longer do any damage. So, like, it's not completely the fact that it's not absorbing enough damage incoming. It's mostly that it's not. It's too easy to cancel the damage going out. Anyway, Enchantress, big buffs. I wonder. An interesting thing is if they would add to her Ag Scepter the same thing that Chen's Ag Scepter has. I think that'd be kind of cool. So, because I mean, it's kind of not fair that Chen gets his ancients and Enchantress doesn't. But at the same time, I mean, because Enchant has a duration, it's not that good. Uh, Maybe if you were able to like enchant the same creep multiple times, so that it would not die, like to refresh the duration. That's an interesting idea. I'm not too sure how viable it'd be, but I don't know. Can't think of too many buffs for Bambi. I mean, right now she's just outshone by Chen, so I think if Chen becomes shittier, Enchantress becomes stronger. Really, uh, maybe that even just makes it better. Maybe a reduction to impetus. What's it? Mana cost, because I mean you're not in pro, we're not playing this hero as a carry, even though it's almost fucking viable as a carry, as we all found out in our terrible pubs. But anyway, well, it's not viable as a carry for many reasons. But this is like one of the most scary fucking 6-slotted heroes in all of Dota. Anyway, so yeah, that's about the only idea I have. Enigma, I think, is fine. I don't think he needs a change really. If anything, maybe a change to his ability to farm so damn fast in the jungle in the early levels. Like I'm not sure, but I think it's probably faster to farm as Enigma in the jungle than it is to farm as Enigma like in a free farm lane. And I might be wrong, but it's absurdly fast. Like maybe I think for the first few levels it'd be faster in lane, but once you get to like level 3, either level 3 or level 5, I'd say it'd be faster in the jungle already. So uh, maybe yeah, I don't think this hero needs too much change. Maybe in buff to the early levels of Malefice, just because no one really gets it. Like, usually you go 1-3-1 because Midnight Pulse allows you to break cheese, which makes the farming even more efficient, because it wasn't efficient enough already. But yeah, I think a nerf this hero's efficiency is probably the best that you can really do. But even then, I don't think this hero even needs to be changed. And this hero's fine where he is. Void, fuck this hero. This is one of the many heroes you'll find I fucking hate. I've already mentioned quite a few, I think. I don't know. I'm not gonna go off on a void rant. I'm not even gonna talk about things that I think that I would like to happen to this fucking evil hero, but I think what would be cool would be nothing. Honestly, Sira's kind of fine. I mean, please don't buff the Zero. Please don't. I don't want to see that, man. In fact, I'd like backtrack to be preventable by MKB. Please. I said I wasn't. I can't trust myself. Sorry, guys. I said I wasn't gonna do it, but I almost did it. I'll just have to put that behind me. Anyway, Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter needs a buff back to flat cannon if they want him to be reliable as a carry, or not reliable, viable as a carry. Homing missile is already OP enough. Rocket barrage is also pretty much OP enough. I mean, if you have Boots Gyro and you find an enemy hero alone in the jungle, they're dead. I'm sorry. Like, actually. That's just so sad. There's nothing they can do. Unless they also have Boots and they run away. But anyway. Yeah, Gyro doesn't need a ton of change. It's either that or maybe a change. Like, I was talking about how on Bounty Hunter I feel like I'm always way too squishy. Well, I kind of feel the same way on Gyrocopter. Maybe a strength nerf or a strength buff. Either to the gain or to the base or to both would be kind of cool. Because this hero is like one of the squishiest carries ever. Probably the most BKB reliant carry in the game. And with the BK, with not being able to buy new BKBs, that really hurts him. I mean, you could buy a refresher orb still, but the Zero doesn't really have that much innate damage, so he needs as many damage as he possibly can, really. Huskar will probably get buffed once again because he's just one of those really sad heroes like CM who just never gets picked because he sucks all the time. Anyway, Burning Spears. I don't know if this health cost is. Well, the hero actually Burning Spears are ridiculously strong in the early game, so the health cost is probably necessary. Inner Vitality buff. I don't think anyone would really care about an Inner Vitality buff. Yeah, I don't think that's really that necessary. Like, this is unfortunate. I know this hero needs a buff. I just don't know where. I'm sorry, guys. What about... Okay, we're checking gains, boys. We're checking gains. I should start up a counter. Guys should start up a counter. Make it a drinking game. Ugh, where is Huskar? Isn't he here? There he is. What are this guy's gains looking like? Good. Terrible. Terrible, but doesn't matter because only one spell that costs mana. So maybe Agi buff. Because, yeah, this hero does have armor problems, doesn't he? I mean, 15 base Agi, 1 base armor, 1.4 Agi gain. Yeah, this hero's armor is trash. But then again, if this hero's armor wasn't trash, he'd be so hard to kill because Berserker's Blood gives you the OP fucking mana resistance, or mana, magic resistance, blah. So yeah, I think Invoker's fine. I mean, once again, this is one of those heroes that just really, really isn't like kind of like Ember Spirit. This hero is only going to be picked if he's good in the current meta, and I guess he's not right now. Not sure why. This hero maybe some buffs to his like his move speed is garbage. Then again, well, he's gonna go max move speed with Wex anyway, but his move speed is garbage, so increasing his move speed would make Exort Invoker a bit stronger. Wouldn't change Wex Invoker too much, I don't think. Increase to base damage would be cool for his laning phase, especially for Wex Invoker. Yeah, I don't think it's spells. I don't think it's his spells that are bad. I think it's this hero that's bad right now, in the eyes of the pros. And I also don't think he's really good against anyone who's real there, because this hero is pretty much completely shut down by BKB as well. BKB is really prevalent right now. I think it's always going to be that way for the most part, but yeah. I'm not going to talk about items, by the way, guys. Sorry. Wisp! Yay! Well, this hero was in the same boat as Batrider, where I said he's probably going to get nerfed consistently because just the nature of the hero makes him strong. Like, this hero is, like, one of the shittiest win rates in pubs because he's so terrible without communication, but this hero is so strong with a good Dota team with good communication. So, Tether is a really shitty skill as far as the slow went, but I think the fact that it's Tether kind of makes up for that. I mean, like, we never really see the slow any because the slow doesn't really matter. We saw the stun way back when, but that was OP. That would be one way to buff Chaos Knight. Anyway, I don't think this hero is gonna change too much. Maybe if anything, he's gonna get nerfed because he's Wisp, but I don't think he's gonna change. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna change. Maybe the early levels of Overcharge. Well, 5% damage reduction is nothing, though. Well, it's not. It's obviously something, but it's not that much. Especially in the early game, because your heroes don't have that much health. I mean, like, 5% of 500 is another 25 health. Like, whoa! Anyway, that's... Am I doing that math wrong? 5% of... I'm definitely doing that math wrong. I did it terribly wrong. Wait. No, I did that right. Whatever. Moving on, Jakiro I think is fine. I think the only reason he's not picked is because push meta isn't that strong anymore. Well, he's still picked, kind of. Not much, though. Anyways, Liquid Fire is just so fucking good. This ability, man. Anyway, I don't know. This hero, like, I think Yules is gonna get nerfed though, and that's gonna make this hero kind of sad, depending on the nerf. But like, this hero does really rely on Yules, kind of like Lina, which is really, really, really sad. Because I don't think a hero should have to rely on Yules, but his cast animations are just so garbage. That's necessary. Like, if they made his cast points better, then that would be another buff that would be viable. But I don't know. I mean, his cast points are probably shitty because he'd be OP if they weren't. I figure. Anyway, I think maybe an Ice Path buff would be good because Ice Path doesn't scale that well. I mean, you get zero point 0.4 seconds of stun and 1 second off the cooldown per level. It's not that good. Uh, yeah, just my opinion. Juggernaut's gonna get nerfed. Probably. Blade Fury is gonna be left alone because it's Blade Fury. No one really uses it. Same with Healing Ward. Like they're both used. They're like neither one of these is really requires a buff because they're not. Neither one of them is really that important to the hero. Well, they're important, but buffing them wouldn't really change, or nerfing them wouldn't really make the hero not viable. Blade Dance could get nerfed. Omni Slash also could get nerfed, but I think it's just this hero in general that's gonna get nerfed. Like, uh, yeah, yeah, I know, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's take a look at Juggernaut here. Okay, so I think his end game is trash, and it probably should be. That's fine. This is pretty good base agi and pretty good base strength. So reductions to those base stats would be okay. I think the gains are fine. I don't. Maybe is the attack speed is really just part of this hero. To be honest, I don't think that gets. I don't think that goes away. I think the nerfs happen somewhere in here in the agi and the strength. I'm not sure if it'll be gain or base or like both. Really, maybe base. I don't think he cares that much about base damage. Maybe Omni Slash, maybe Blade Dance, but I think it's probably going to be in the hero. Coddle. Coddle needs a. Coddle's really situational, actually. Like, Coddle doesn't offer you as much as I think he needs to be to be viable, especially because split push. Like, split push is never weak, but it's not that strong right now. Like imagine this hero with Terrorblade if they didn't nerf illusions against buildings last whatever the hell it was. And I guess you got to see it with Coddle as well, or PL back in the day, but it's not viable with PL anymore, guys. PL Coddle no longer good. Anyway, uh, Chakra Magic's always cool, but you need a partner for it. I think maybe buff to Mana Leak in the early levels. Same with Illuminate. Just because this hero can't gank, and I think that's why he's not really that good. He can't gank and he can't counter gank either. And I think that's what makes this hero really sad right now. Because the early game is so important right now. Kunkka! I think Kunkka is one of those heroes who's always not going to be that picked because he's kind of clowny. But, eh, Kunkka, 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 Kunkka. What do we do with you? I almost liked Old X better. Ghost Ship is really, really good. Maybe they could make it even stronger to make him better. I think his gains are fine. Like, his hero is really tanky in the early game. I don't think his armor is that good, though. Maybe they can increase that. I'm not checking. Fuck that. Uh, Maybe a buff the Tidebringer to make him stronger in lane, because he's deceptively weak in lane, I think. Like, he gets beat by Quap, by Storm, those popular mid heroes, by Lina probably. It's not a matchup I've seen, but anyway. Legion needs buffs. Legion is a sad hero. All Legion does is blink in and duel. That's about it. I mean, press the attack is cool, but if I want to press the attack, I'm just gonna get an Abaddon. And Abaddon's not even popular. Uh, Moment of Courage isn't that useless. This hero doesn't carry. I mean, she has the potential to carry a game, but how often do you see it? Because this hero is so dependent on snowballing. It's just one of those heroes that doesn't fit the meta that well, and probably never will. But I don't know. Probably buffs to the hero itself a little bit. Make her a bit more survivable in the off lane. Because that's where usually where she goes. Press the attack. Maybe a slight buff, like cast point or something. I'm not too sure. Moment of courage. I don't think anyone cares about moment of courage, to be honest. And duel. I don't know. I don't know. I know this hero needs to be buffed, but I'm not sure where it's gonna happen. Sorry, guys. Leshrac. Split Earth. Uh, Leshrac is balanced by the fact that his abilities are all really strong, and you kind of want to max them all, but you can't. So I don't think the hero needs to be changed, really. I think this hero's fine. Maybe, like, another hero is dependent on heals, though. I mean, that's one depressing thing. Set up that stun, but I don't think the hero is weak. I think the hero is just kind of underused. He kind of needs a partner to gank in the early game. That's kind of his problem, I think. Like, he needs the Shadow Demon or the Bane or the Rubik to set up Split Earth. Anyway, Lich. I think Lich is pretty okay. I don't think he needs to be changed. Lifestealer buff. Probably Rage Duration. Well, I don't know. Rage Duration might be OP, but might not be. Again, you gotta see it in practice. Control was a cool thing, but it's not that good. Like it's not that useful in an actual game. Open Wounds is fine, I think. Feast is fine, yeah. I'd say buffs to either Rage or the hero itself. Lina probably needs a nerf. 950 pure damage is so ridiculous. I think you either make it harder for her to farm that by probably nerfing her nukes, maybe nerfing Fire Soul, but I don't think I don't think that's a strong part of this hero. Or making her laning phase shitty. I mean, already I think she's a really gankable hero, but I don't know. I think she needs a slight nerf, but I don't think it's a ton. Actually, Laguna Blade cooldown would be really good now I think about it. Because you think about Lion, I mean, Lion gets a 1050 nuke every 20 seconds when he gets an eggs, but he doesn't get an egg, so. Like, if we look at Lion, who's right next to her, how convenient. Goes down to 4850. Lina is 5950, but, like, the real big problem, like, early game, 160-600 versus 450-70. I mean, I think Laguna Blade, maybe change it so that the Agnum Scepter reduces the duration. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think the cooldown is probably a good place to nerf her. Probably hurt all of her cooldowns, actually. Anyway, Lion, slight nerf if anything. I think he's pretty okay where he is. Yeah, I think he's fine. I don't think he's too strong. He's really good at ganking. That's why he's so popular right now. But no, I don't think he needs to change. If they're gonna nerf him, I think they go with his Earth Spike mana cost maybe in the early game. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, Lone Druid. Lone Druid could use a buff, I think. Bear. Maybe a buff to the bear's survivability would be okay. I don't think it's definitely the right way to go, but it'd be okay. Maybe. But you don't want to feed the bear away, and it's really easy to feed the bear away. So deceptively easy to feed the bear away, especially as you go later game. Like this hero kind of falls off in the late game because his bear it doesn't scale from stats, so he always stays like at 2700 HP, 2700 HP. I mean, you can get him armor, but it's not that good. So I mean, if you just focus down the bear and then he gets another bear and you kill that bear too, and then what does this hero really do? Yeah, I think that's probably the best buff for him. Maybe the hero itself once again, but I think the hero has good gains, and I'm not checking. Luna! I think Luna's okay where she is. Again, she's kind of like Drow, where she's really good in those all-in push lineups, so... Yeah, I mean, I could see her getting buffed, if anything. Probably to her early game survivability, or maybe her survivability as a whole, but I don't think she's going to change. I think she's okay. Lycan. Lycan doesn't need a change, I don't think. He's cool. Yeah. Yeah, he's cool. We're moving on. Magnus, maybe an empower nerf if anything. It's not these other skills that make him strong. It's definitely empower right now. But then again, with the troll becoming less popular, he might become less popular. Because I mean, empower isn't good with all carries. It's not that good with range carries, and even with melee carries. Like empowered Lycan is not that scary. So yeah, Medusa's fine. Meepo is really sad because of the current mechanics with the rubber band, which I think will probably be, I hope will be nerfed. And that would be a huge buff to Meepo because Meepo gets so far ahead and then he dies a lot, and when he dies, he gives away so much. I think that's really the problem with the hero right now. But one, he's again kind of one of those heroes that is kind of clowny and is never picked because of it. Mirana. Mirana is fine. Morphling also pretty much fine, I think. Naga, maybe a buff to her early game, maybe a buff to her farm before Radiance, but other than that, I think she's pretty much fine. Prophet. Needs a buff, probably to either his early, like definitely to a specific phase of his game. I'd say maybe base stats, maybe stat gains. Uh, I don't know. It's just not much. Again, if the pushing meta becomes strong once again, then he's gonna be popular no matter what. So again, he's just not that good with this meta. I think that's why he's not picked. So yeah, I think we'll still see him get buffed. I'm not sure where we'll see him get buffed, but I'm pretty confident we'll see him get buffed. Necrophos. Fuck this hero, man. This is one of the many heroes I hate. And as sad as it makes me just say it, I think he's probably gonna get buffed. Not sure where. He's kind of okay where he is, to be honest, in my opinion. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him get buffed. Night Stalker probably gonna get nerfed because he's pretty popular. I don't think he'll get nerfed much, though. I don't think he's too strong. I think Crippling Fear in the early levels is kind of OP, but I think the hero's kind of fine. I don't think he needs a ton of change. I don't know. I think Void does a lot of damage, but I think that's fine. Hunter the Knight, I think, is also fine, but that could be a place where they buff him. Darkness, the vision reduction is so ridiculous. I think that's probably going to get changed. Like, especially the fact that it affects wards. Like, that's just absurd. It affects buildings. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that. I mean, if the other team had T1s and they weren't contesting, you could literally just, like, have an Ags Night Stalker run up, or no, not even an Ags Night Stalker. You could just pop Darkness, run up to a tower, and have a sniper with max take aim just hitting the tower. And the tower couldn't do shit about it. I mean, I've never seen it, but I'm pretty sure that's possible. So yeah, I think Darkness is probably too strong. Crippling Fear, 5-second silence at night, and a 50% chance to miss is kind of irrelevant. It's not that good. But the 5-second silence at level 1 is ridiculous. I don't like that. Nyx Assassin, I don't think Nyx needs to be changed. It's just not popular right now, but if anything, buff. Not sure where, but probably not changed. Ogre, maybe slight buffs, but I think he's okay as well. Omni Knight, again, I think he's okay. Oracle, not in CM, hahaha. OD buff, I don't know. This hero is kind of like this hero is absurdly strong in the late game, absurdly strong in the early game. Kind of falls off right when those BKBs come out. That's when this hero is really sad because he does nothing against BKBs. But yeah, it's kind of unfortunate for him. I don't know. Maybe they could buff the hero himself. He's really squishy as a carry. He could be. It'd be nice if he was tankier. He's also really relying on BKB, but he gets refresh orbs, so he can generally have a 10-second. But that's only if he gets 6 slotted. PA, I think PA is in a good place. PL, slight nerfs maybe. Probably the Doppelganger. Doppelganger is so fucking good. Maybe Doppelganger cooldown. increase. It's so hard to kill the zero. It's ridiculous. Yeah, that's about the only change I could think of. But this, I think the zero will get a slight nerf. Either a slight nerf or he won't be changed. Phoenix, we see Phoenix a lot, but I don't think he needs a huge. I don't really think he needs a buff or a nerf. Sorry. I think he's pretty okay. I mean, like, he's not the best. He's not the worst. I think he's just picked because he fits the meta. Eh, it's actually kind of surprising that the Zero is as picked as he is, with Troll being pretty much a counter to him. But anyway, Puck, Puck's fine. Pudge, Pudge again. One of those heroes just never gonna be picked because he's clowny. I guess he's probably gonna get buffed again, but I don't expect to see him in the meta, regardless of what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to change that hero. Pugna. Pugna isn't popular because the meta isn't push oriented. Again, kind of like Nature's Prophet, so maybe he'll get slight buffs because of that. But the biggest buff to him is going to be a change in the meta. Crop's probably going to get nerfed. I don't know what's going to get nerfed, but probably her laning phase. Her laning phase is ridiculous. Like Shadow Strike at level 1 is absurd. So yeah, that'd be my guess. But then again, you could also nerf other things in order to make her balanced. Like if maybe her early game's great, but her late game's shit, kind of like Undying. I don't know. Anyway, Razor, maybe a buff, but again, not push oriented meta, not picked. Ricky, this hero needs buffs. He's so very sad right now. I think the reason he's so very sad is because you want to max backstab. Like all of his abilities are just so damn good, but generally you want to max backstab, and then you have 8-second fade delay and 250 radius smoke screen at level 7, and that's kind of depressing. But so maybe I think increases to the value points in both these abilities would make the hero more viable, or else make the value point in this really good. But I don't see that happening. So yeah, probably buffs to level 1 in these two would be his best bet. Rubik I think is fine. Sand King I think is fine. Shadow Demon is fine. Uh, all these heroes could maybe use slight buffs, but for most part they're fine. Shadow Fiend, uh, it's really a hyper farm based meta, and that's why he's been popular. He's not that popular anymore. I don't think he needs a change, to be honest. I think he's fine. He might get nerfed. He won't get buffed. He might get nerfed to Requiem, maybe the damage. But yeah, I think he's okay still. Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman is probably once again not push related meta. But if anything, slight buffs. His early game's kind of garbage. He's kind of slow. That makes him kind of sad. Maybe if he was faster, he'd be strong. But move speed buffs are pretty uncommon. I've been talking about them a lot, but I'm not gonna see many of those, if any. Silencer, 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 silencer. Um, again, I think the hero's pretty okay. Maybe he'll get slightly buffed. Probably to curse, because no one even skills curse right now. It's just not that good a skill. Yeah, Skyrath. Maybe he'll get nerfed. I don't think he'll get buffed, and he might just not get changed as well. If he gets nerfed, I'd say his early game, either his mana, like him not being able to use as many arcane bolts at level 1 would be a pretty legit nerf to the hero. Maybe giving a decent cast point to Ancient Seal would also be a good nerf to the hero. Uh, yeah, I think concussive shot is fine. Mystic Flare is fine. It's these two abilities that are strong right now because this is so good in the early game and this is instant. Slardar, he'll probably get slightly buffed, but I don't think he needs it that much. Uh, no one really scales his bash, so maybe making that stronger would be okay. But I'm pretty happy. I'd be happy if bashes were just removed altogether from this game. So yeah, I think he's okay. Don't think he needs a ton of change. Slark. Slark, maybe slight nerfs to his killing power in the early game. Dark Pact and Pounce damage, most likely. But I don't think he's going to change that much. I don't think he needs to change. Sniper, you, my friend, are getting fucking nerfed. Thank fucking God. This fucking hero. Shrapnel nerf would be cool. Very cool. Headshot nerf would also be cool. Take aim, Take aim and assassinate aren't that strong, but these two skills are fucking ridiculous right now. So, please, like, you could be fucking man fighting a sniper, need to hit him one more time, and then he shrapnels and headshots you, and you just can't hit him. It's absurd. Like, I don't know. Wait, what the hell? Hmm. Is that outdated? Did they not change that or something? It says briefly stop the movements of its enemies. Alright, well, that's basically what the slow does anyway, so whatever. Spectre. I think Spectre's fine where she is. Again, she's like really late game oriented, so that's probably why she's not that picked. But yeah, I think she's fine. They might even buff her late game even more just to really make a statement, you know. But yeah, I think she's fine. Spirit Breaker. I think he's also fine. He might get slightly nerfed, but I think he's fine. Storm. I think he's fine as well. I think he's only popular because Sumail, but yeah, I don't think this hero is as strong as people think. I mean, there are just players like Koipka and Sumail who make this hero look so fucking good. But I don't think this hero is OP or anything. I think there's just some really good players with the hero, and I think that's just the nature of the hero. He has a deceptively high skill cap, I think. Anyway, Sen needs some buffs. I mean, I think he needs one of many buffs that would be potential. Buffs to his mana pool would be good. Buffs to his farming ability would be cool. Buffs to his early and late fighting and mid game fighting would all be cool. So yeah, I mean, Zero could just use so many different buffs. He's definitely gonna get some form of buff though. Techies, fuck this. Templar Assassin. I think she's fine. Terrorblade might get buffed. I think he's okay where he is, but I think a buff would also be kind of cool because he's just so damn squishy. If he could get a bit more health, that would be really cool. Because I mean, you could literally just pick a Zeus and this hero just dies in a second. It's absurd. Tide. I think Tide needs an axe upgrade as well. The fact that Ravage is negated by BKB makes this hero complete shit, honestly. That's why this hero's not good. If the stun went through BKB with Ags or something, this hero would be pretty damn viable, I think. You might even be OP with that, but yeah. Just my sweet opinion. Yeah, this hero needs both slight buffs. Timbersaw, I think Timbersaw will probably get buffed, but I think he's okay. The one thing that's really confusing about this hero is he's really squishy in the early game, which is kind of weird because he's a strength hero. But anyway, like this hero has zero. Like when I'm like level 8 on this hero, I have like 1 armor and like 1,000 health. This hero is, I think it's his base. I think his base strength is bad, but I'm not checking. I think that's what it is. So I'd like a buff to this hero. Kind of early to early mid game tankiness would be cool. That's about it though. This hero's kind of confusing because you need the also if this hero could become viable in the mid lane, that's another potential thing. Because I think the only time this hero is even viable is in a favorable matchup as a solo offlaner against when your team is aggro trying or the other team's aggro trying. So in a 1v1 situation in a lane because trees. So like this hero could be made viable in the mid lane somehow. But this hero can't really be put in offlane because he needs so much farm. And he's pretty damn good at farming once he gets eggs, but he's not that good before that. So, like, the fact that this hero needs so much farm, and there's really no place you really want to put him to give him that farm, is the reason why he's not kind of weak. Tinker, Whoops. Tinker could maybe get buffed, I think. I'm not sure where this buff would be. I think maybe give him his ancients back, actually. That would be cool. They definitely over nerfed this hero because they nerfed Dagon, they nerfed E-Blade, they nerfed March of the Machines heavily. I think they didn't need all those nerfs, especially because E-Blade nerfed a multitude of other heroes as well, like Carry Morphling, for example. But yeah, I think if you give him his ancients back, he becomes viable. But I don't think he becomes too strong. I might be wrong about that because the E-Blade nerf is really good against him. Uh, yeah. Tiny, I think Tiny's fine. Tree, please nerf Eyes in the Forest ever so slightly. I mean, I think that's a bit too strong. Now we get to Troll. Now, Troll, this fucking hero, is going to be beat so hard with a nerf stick that he will probably look like Undying after. Anyway, yeah, this hero is going to get nerfed and nerfed hard. Bash duration, please. Attack speed, please. Everything that gives him attack speed. I think whirling axes aren't that OP. Everything else is OP. His move speed. Nerf that shit. These two skills, nerf that shit. This skill, nerf that shit, man. Nerf everything. Fuck. This fucking hero. Like, actually, this hero is going to be hurting after this patch. Very bad. I don't think he's going to get picked again until 6.6, like 6.87, when they finally nerf him back to viability. He's going to get nerfed like Morphling after TI2. Yeah. Sad hero. I just lost those 2 network. Tusk. Tusk will probably get buffed. I'd like to see more Walrus Punch damage because I think crit multiplier is 350. Dude, I get more than that out of Enchant Totem, for fuck's sake. Like, yeah, and Enchant Totem has a way shorter cooldown. I think. I don't know. And it stuns. Yeah, this I think Walrus Punch is not strong. Sigil is probably his best skill right now because he's played as a support. I think it'd be possible to make him viable in the off lane and possible to make him viable in the mid lane. But I think he'll always be best as a support. You could never run him as a carry, I don't think, unless Walrus Punch went down to like 3-second cooldown or some shit. But yeah. That's the big thing. And yeah. The hero's also just kind of considered cloudy, I think. That's another reason he's not picked a ton. Undying, I think, is fine. Ursa might get buffed. I don't know where he'll get buffed, but I think he might get buffed. I think he's okay right now, though. I think Venge's gonna tank some slight nerfs. Probably, I'm not sure where she's. Probably the swap, actually. Swap's her strongest skill. I don't know how hard those nerfs are gonna be or where they're gonna be, but I think that's probably the best place to nerf her. Venomancer, again, not push related meta. So I don't think he's OP. I don't think he's too weak either. Viper needs some buffs. He doesn't really do anything. As much as I hate playing against this hero, he's just not that good. He's got a pretty good laning phase, but he's not the best. He's pretty survivable. Again, he's not the best. He has some carry potentially. He's not the best. Ag's Viper Strike is cool, but I mean, it's not enough to justify picking this hero. I think this hero definitely needs to be buffed. I'm not. There are a multitude of places this hero could get buffed, though, so I'm not going to speculate too much on where this hero is going to get buffed. Visage, I think Visage is fine. Warlock might get some changes to either define him as a core or as a support, but I don't think he will. I think he's also fine where he is. Weaver, I think he needs some buffs, but I'm not sure where they'll be. Maybe his survivability. He's really, really squishy right now. Maybe to the Swarm. The Swarm scales terribly. If they could find a way to make this scale better, that'd be fine. Windranger. I think she's okay. I don't think she needs too much change, if any. Maybe level 1 Shackle Shot. Like, the early levels of Shackle Shot are not that good. 1.5 second stun, It's not very much of a reward for getting a Shackle off, and it's going to be level 1 until probably level 8. So, it's kind of sad. Wyvern, buff this, or no, don't. This hero's broke as hell, sorry, but anyway. This hero's not in CM, so I don't care. Witch Doctor. I think he's fine. Wraith King, you need buffs. I'm not. Probably the stats of the hero as a whole would be nice. Mana cost of reincarnation is. I think if they change that to 150, that'd be cool, because then you could buy a soul ring, and then they can't really mana burn you to fuck you over unless you get finished by a fucking anti mage when you have 1 health from soul ringing, which would be really unfortunate, but anyway. So yeah, the Sura is gonna get buffed. Again, I'm not 100% sure where, and Zeus is gonna get nerfed. Uh, maybe even Arc Lightning. Like, if they made Arc Lightning crappy at the early levels, the Sura would be really shitty in lane, and then the Sura wouldn't be that viable as a mid laner. That would be an interesting nerf. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe some static field nerf, maybe some lightning bolt nerf, but I think Arc Lightning is probably the one spell that would really, really hurt him if it was nerfed. At level 1 at least. Thunder God's Wrath. I don't think this hero really needs too much of a change. Or this ability needs too much of a change. Because it's really his selling point, because you can scout and because you can do damage to everyone, but I don't think it does too much damage, so I don't think you can nerf him there. Anyway, that's everyone. Hopefully I wasn't a complete idiot, and we'll find out when the patch log comes out. I'm not sure when that's gonna happen, but yeah, hold me to my predictions and then make fun of me when they're wrong. Um, I will be doing a patch analysis when 6.84 comes out, and I am gonna continue on with the heroes until that happens. I'm probably gonna stop doing the hero analysis videos for a little bit once 6.84 comes out, because I'm not. It's gonna take a while for the meta to really define itself again after a patch like that. Like, generally you kind of see teams trying to run what used to work, and like, it doesn't work, and then they try to experiment with some stuff and it does work or it doesn't work, and eventually you get a new meta. So anyway, until then guys, I'm Eclipse. Like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you guys later. Bye.